I find, in my work that it's gone the way of, the stigma of mental health, in some ways, where we have a long way to go where people are comfortable even imagining that this would be possible for themselves or for their loved one or, for a neighbor. It's different when it's in the first person, where if you might see it, but you're able to have distance or a wall, that's very different than really seeing it and then being reactive. We don't like to talk about chronic disease, we don't like to talk about death in our society, we don't like to talk about planning, and we don't want to imagine that we are vulnerable. As people are living longer, when you get to 85, it's 1 in 3. Isn't that amazing? And we don't really know very much about that population because we haven't had enough individuals who have lived that long up until this point, And so, but the risk is high. The reality is either, you or a loved one will at some point need to deal with something that has to do with changes like this. I think we sometimes put on the professional hat, right? Of like, I know what's best, listen to me, right? I'm the professional, listen to me, but that's not a partnership, right? That's actually not listening to the needs of your consumers. And everything else in the world is going to user-centered design or consumer-centered design, and our industry, quite frankly, is behind. I think it's like moving the Titanic like in a bathtub, right? So you have to figure out really what can you change that moves you closer to being able to personalize and then keep chipping away at it. I'm really proud to be with an organization that's trying to get there, and trying to change. And one of the things is I think we have to really build those community hubs that are outside of our doors, right? So inviting people in who are never going to live with you. So that would be one aspect of it, and I think we're doing that a lot, and one of my favorite things to do. The other thing is to really think about what the next generation of housing looks like, right? And does that look like small homes? Does that look like it's interfaced with technology? Does that look like it has an evidence base underneath it? Does that look like, you can really think about all aspects of the environment? We have a really cool philosophy that we're piloting on the other side of the bridge for now, but are hoping to really get it on this side where we've got several different pathways that interact in order to really create that person-centered living model. And one of the really cool things that's happened, we've piloted it in a household there, is that the staff have really, really prioritized even so much as scheduling to be dictated by the residents' natural rhythms and lifestyle, and the rise when you rise and kind of engage with what you engage with. And so for me, it's sort of bridging all of that together would be an ideal. But we've worked with family members, for example, who come in one day, and it's a husband whose wife, maybe lives with us, and a husband comes in one day, and for half an hour, he's the husband, and he leaves to go get a cup of water and comes back, and he's the son. That's amazing, like on someone's emotion and on someone's, ability to deal with that. But the more he can go with it, the more quality time he gets with his wife, right? The more that she's not feeling as though he's doubting what she's saying, right? The more that there is an ability to have a conversation. Yes, it's a different relationship. It's very different, but it's meaningful at the same time, rather than just being a negative experience every time you visit your loved one, because then you're worried about all the things you have to do to care for them, because just because you have them in someone else's care doesn't mean the worry ends, right? So you've got them in someone else's care, and you're worrying about all of the day-to-day things that you're still doing, whether it be financial resources or navigating everything, and then you go, and then you come out not motivated to continue. Like, we're really doing a disservice by doing so, and part of it is really that it's not that individual's fault, right? Like, they're not trying to be difficult. That's just what they know right now. And so, it certainly has changed quite a bit. It is definitely much easier said than done, though. What I was saying was that, really knowing the person, knowing their history, knowing their preferences, being a consistent caregiver, eventually you start to know why or what is going on. Really, we have to be detectives in this work. We have to really keep asking why and thinking of all these different reasons and trying things. And that's the beauty of using improv, right? You can try it, and if it fails, pick another topic, right? And try again and see if you get somewhere.